time for another would you rather scenario that Mike has been coming up with for this year. Mike, take it away.
Yeah, look, we don't spend a lot of time dwelling on the top 30 visits that the Saints make. They bring guys in. I mean, it's obviously interesting, and if they end up drafting them, we find out what they wanted to know about them when they brought in here. But the correlation between who they're going to draft and who they bring in is so low. But two have stood out to me recently because they are two guys that we're just starting to see all over NFL media as just generating a ton of buzz. Speaking of Peyton Turner being hey, I'm hearing this guy might go in the first round. A lot of reporters are starting to say that about Western Michigan edge rusher Marshawn Nealand, who is most people think is a second-round talent. And then this Western Kentucky receiver, Malachi Corley. He's like a dynamic playmaker, and I think it was Field Yates had put out a tweet where he said he was second in all of college football in broken tackles last year, and then Corley tweeted out, I want to know who broke more tackles than me. I'm sure he's a great player or something.
Yeah.
But we don't have to debate these two guys. I'm sure you haven't broken down the film, but it struck me as, all right, let's say the Saints do one of these risk-reward, small school, dynamic players in round 2. Would you rather see it be an edge rusher, like a guy from Western Michigan, or a dynamic playmaker at the receiver position? This guy in particular is like 5'10", plays in the slot, but I'm not talking about that big receiver that we know they need. I'm talking more of a luxury pick. Would you rather see it be maybe a part-time edge rusher, part-time playmaker?
I don't have the data on this, but it just feels like your odds of hitting on a wide receiver in the second round and having that actual upside is a lot higher. There's a lot of like second-round wide receivers who are great. I don't know the number on edge rushers. It just feels like you're going to have a better chance of hitting there. And especially, I think, in this draft, like, because you do have a lot of depth at wide receiver in this year's draft. It's OT, it's wide receiver. And then I think most of the other positions are kind of considered to be a little bit shallow outside of them. And I don't think it's kind of viewed as a great draft overall, but those two positions are. So if we're talking specific to this draft, give me the wide receiver. Like, just hit there. Like, we'll see what happens with Foskey. You already have one of those on the team. Like, bring in the guy and let's see the actual race play out.
That's the thing. Part of me likes hearing all this buzz around Marshawn Nealand and thinking, oh, if the Saints got a guy like that at 45, that's kind of exciting. You know, we've had picks like that in the past. Stanley Jean-Baptiste was another one. And when the Saints got him in round 2, it's like, oh, they got that buzzworthy guy in round 2. What a steal. Like, it changes the perception so much. But I do partly feel like if you bring in a guy who is not a sure thing at defensive end, now all of a sudden you're saying, all right, so just lump him in with Foskey and lump him in with Peyton Turner. And they already have Chase Young and Carl Granderson and Cam Jordan. Like, I think the Saints really, really, really need a number 1 defensive end or maybe a number 2 defensive end. But do they just need another body who might get you X amount of snaps? I don't know. I still think I lead toward the edge rusher, but I just agree. Once you're getting to pick 45, that is a position where you're not even getting a sure thing that guy's going to see time on the field. If you find a dynamic playmaker, he'll get some snaps for sure.